Imagine you're playing tag in the schoolyard. You run, you laugh, you dodge every moves fast. Now imagine trying to play the same game in slow motion. Not so fun, right? That's how some people felt about blockchains, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Powerful? Yes, but sometimes slow and crowded. Then came Solana, the blockchain that said, what if we could run as fast as the playground game itself? Solana is often called the speedster of crypto, while Bitcoin is like a heavy armored truck, and Ethereum is like a bustling digital city. Solana is more like a super fast train zipping, along with thousands of passengers. Barely stopping, always on the move. It's money, apps, and games running at lightning speed. The origin story of Solana. Every great superhero has an origin story, and blockchains are no different. Bitcoin had its mysterious Satoshi, Ethereum had its teenage genius, Vitalik, and Solana. Solana's story begins with a man named Anatoly. Anatoly wasn't a wizard or a teenager with a dream. He was an engineer. He had worked on cell phone systems and computer networks, the kind of hidden technology that makes the internet and smartphones work. He knew one thing very well: how to make things fast. Back in 2017, Anatoly was frustrated. He admired Bitcoin for creating money without banks. He admired Ethereum for building a playground of apps. But there was a problem he couldn't ignore. They were slow. Bitcoin could only process about 7 transactions per second. Ethereum could do a little better, maybe 30 on a good day. But Visa, the company that lets you swipe credit cards in stores, could do tens of thousands of transactions every second. If blockchains were ever going to compete with real-world money systems, they had to be faster, much faster. So Anatoly asked himself a question. What if a blockchain could move as fast as the internet itself? That question was the seed of Solana. He started sketching ideas. Instead of everyone in the network waiting their turn like kids lining up for the slide, what if there was a clock that kept everything in sync? What if transactions could be ordered and processed quickly without every single computer checking every single detail at the same time? This led him to invent something new. Proof of history. POE? Proof of history is a fancy name, but the idea is simple. It's like stamping time on every event, so you always know what happened, first, second, and third. Think of it like a school race. Without a clock, kids argue. I finished first. No, I did, but with a stopwatch. The truth is clear. Proof of history is that stopwatch for Solana. With this system, transactions didn't have to wait in long lines. They could flow quickly, one after another, like water rushing down a river. Suddenly, Solana could handle tens of thousands of transactions per second, something no other blockchain could dream of at the time. But Anatoly didn't work alone. He gathered a team of engineers and dreamers who believed in speed. Together, they built the Solana network. By 2020, Solana was live. It wasn't just another blockchain. It was a rocket ship. And the name? It came from a beach. Anatoly used to surf at Solana Beach in California, and the name stuck. Just like the ocean, Solana would be fast, flowing, and unstoppable. In only a few years, Solana grew from an idea in one engineer's mind to a thriving ecosystem with games, apps, NFTs, and billions of dollars moving through it. It wasn't always smooth sailing. Solana had crashes, slowdowns, and skeptics. Some laughed. It's too fast. It will break. But each time, the community patched the holes, strengthened the system, and kept moving forward. So the origin of Solana isn't just about one man's invention. It's about daring to ask, why should blockchains crawl when they could fly? From that question, a new kind of blockchain was born, one that promised speed, scale, and a future where crypto could move as quickly as your heartbeat. The token and its function, Sol. Every city has its own currency. In New York, you use dollars. In Tokyo, you use yen. In Ethereum's digital city, you use Ether. And in Solana's fast-moving world, you use a token called SOL. Think of SOL as the heartbeat of the Solana network. Without SOL, the system has no pulse, no life. With SOL, everything flows. Apps, games, even votes in the community. But what exactly does SOL do? Let's break it down. 1. SOL is money. At the simplest level, SOL can be sent from one person to another. Just like Bitcoin or Ether, you can use it to pay for goods, services, or even just to tip someone online. The difference is, Solana makes this transfer happen super fast and for almost no fee. Imagine giving your friend a sticker you just pass it across the table. That's how smooth it feels. 2. SOL is fuel. Every action on Solana, whether it's sending coins, minting an NFT, or playing a blockchain game, needs a little bit of SOL to pay for gas. But unlike Ethereum, where gas fees sometimes feel like buying a whole meal just to send a coin, Solana's gas fees are tiny. We're talking fractions of a penny. It's like paying a single grain of rice to run a program. That's why people love to experiment on Solana. It's affordable for everyone. 3. SOL is a ticket to power. In Solana's proof-of-stake system, people who own SOL can stake it. That means they lock it up to help secure the network. In return, they earn rewards, like interest in a savings account. It's also a way to prove loyalty. The more SOL you stake, the more you show you believe in the system. And validators, the ones who confirm transactions use staked SOL to keep the system honest. 4. SOL is a voting tool because Solana is community. Important decisions like upgrades or changes to the system are often influenced by token holders. Holding SOL is like having a vote in the digital parliament of the city. 1 SOL equals 1 voice. Now let's make it fun. Picture Solana as a massive amusement park. Inside are roller coasters, arcades, and food stands. To ride, to play, to each you need park tokens. Those tokens are SOL. Want to ride the roller coaster? Send a payment. Pay with SOL. Want to play the arcade mint and NFT? Pay with SOL. Want to help run the park smoothly? Stake. Lock up SOL. Want to vote on whether the park should add a new water slide governance? Use SOL. No SOL, no fun. With SOL, the park never stops buzzing. Another image. SOL is like the blood in a body. The Solana blockchain is the skeleton and muscles the structure. The apps and contracts are the brain and nerves the ideas. But without blood flowing, the whole thing collapses. SOL keeps it alive, circulating energy everywhere. And because Solana is so fast, the SOL token feels like lightning. Transactions happen in seconds, and fees are almost invisible. That SY developers love it. It lets them build without worrying about users paying crazy costs. There's also a rhythm in the way SOL works. Without SOL, no speed. Without SOL, no apps. Without SOL, no votes. With SOL, the city runs. With SOL, the games play. With SOL, the dream grows. This is why people sometimes say SOL is more than just a token. It's the soul of Solana, the white paper, and the original idea. Before Solana became the lightning-fast blockchain we know today, it began as all great inventions do on paper. In 2017, Anatoly Yakovenko published a document, much like Satoshi's Bitcoin white paper or Vitalik's Ethereum white paper. But this wasn't just a dull research report. It was more like a blueprint for speed. A manifesto that said, blockchains don't have to crawl. They can sprint. What was inside? The key idea was something called proof of history, POH. Now, imagine a classroom where kids are trying to hand in their homework. Without a clock, everyone argues. I gave mine first. No, I did. The teacher gets confused, wasting time checking. But with a clock on the wall, the teacher just looks. This paper came at 10:01. This one at 10:02. Done. No arguments. That's what proof of history does. It stamps each transaction with a unique time before it enters the blockchain. Everyone knows exactly when it happened. No more shouting. No more confusion. This little trick makes everything flow smoothly and quickly. In his white paper, Anatoly described how adding a sense of time to blockchains could unlock massive speed. Instead of waiting for everyone to agree on each step, the system could trust the clock and move forward confidently. It was like giving the blockchain a heartbeat tick, tick, tick always, moving forward. But the white paper wasn't just about proof of history. It was about building a whole scalable system. Anatoly and his team combined Poe with other innovations, like Turbine, a way of spreading information, like breaking a big file into little puzzle pieces and sending them quickly, so no single computer gets overwhelmed. Sealyville, a system that lets thousands of smart contracts run side by side instead of one at a time. Imagine a kitchen with 100 chefs cooking at once instead of just one. Gulfstream, a way to push transactions ahead of time so the system is always ready. Pipeline, a method to handle tasks in stages, like an assembly line in a toy factory. Together, these tools made Solana's white paper more than a planet was a promise. We will build a blockchain that runs at internet speed. Think of it like drawing the map of a futuristic city. Bitcoin's map showed treasure chests. Ethereum's map showed a playground of apps. Solana's map showed highways, bullet trains, and skyscrapers built for millions of people to move quickly and cheaply. Of course, at first, people doubted. It's too ambitious, they said. It will break under pressure. But Anatoly and his team believed in the blueprint. They raised funds, coded night and day, and turned the paper into reality. By 2020, Solana wasn't just an idea in a PDF anymore. It was a living blockchain, proving the blueprint could actually work. The white paper had jumped off the page and become a city of speed. And just like how kids once sketched dream cities out of Lego, Anatoly sketched his city with code and then actually built it. So when people talk about Solana's white paper, they don't just mean a technical document. They mean the spark that started it all. The proof that blockchains didn't have to be slow. And the invitation for builders everywhere to dream bigger. The technology and what makes Solana different. If Bitcoin is like a heavy armored truck carrying gold, and Ethereum is like a busy digital city filled with shops and apps, then Solana is like a bullet train. Smooth, powerful, and unbelievably fast. But how does it actually work under the hood? What makes Solana stand out from all the other blockchains trying to win the race? The secret is a cocktail of clever technologies, each one solving a different problem. Let's walk through them like we're exploring the engine room of a spaceship. 1. Proof of history, Poe. This is Solana's famous invention. It's the built-in clock that timestamps every transaction before it even enters the chain. Remember our classroom homework example? The clock makes sure everyone agrees on the order of events. By doing this, Solana doesn't waste time with endless debates. It knows exactly what came first, second, and third. This alone speeds things up dramatically. 2. Tower BFT. Once transactions are timestamped, Solana uses a system called Tower Byzantine Fault Tolerance, BFT, to finalize decisions. Think of it as the referee in a sports game. Even if some players cheat or yell, the referee keeps the match fair and moving. Tower BFT ensures consensus happens quickly and honestly, even in a global network where some computers might misbehave. 3. Gulfstream. In most blockchains, transactions wait in a long line, like kids queuing for ice cream. In Solana, Gulfstream pushes transactions ahead of time to the right places, like an ice cream seller who hands out tickets in advance. By the time you reach the counter, your order is ready. No waiting. 4. Turbine. The internet is made up of computers passing messages. Sending a giant file can be slow. Solana solves this with Turbine, which breaks information into tiny pieces and spreads them quickly, like children whispering in a circle game. Each child only passes a little part, but soon the whole message is shared. That's why Solana can spread data across thousands of nodes without clogging the pipes. 5. Most blockchains can only process one smart contract at a time, like a kitchen with a single chef. C-level lets many chefs cook at once, in parallel, using all the stoves. This means Solana can run thousands of contracts side by side without slowing down. 6. Pipeline. Imagine an assembly line in a toy factory. One worker paints, the next puts on wheels, the next packages the toy. Each worker does their job at the same time, making the whole process faster. That's what pipeline does for transactions. It breaks them into steps so different parts of the computer can process them simultaneously. 7. Cloudbreak. This is Solana's special database system that makes sure information is stored and retrieved quickly. Instead of a single librarian digging through books, Cloudbreak is like an entire library team handing you the right book instantly. 8. Archivers. Because blockchains stored so much history, someone needs to keep all the records safe. In Solana, regular computers, called archivers, store pieces of history. They're like citizens keeping little pages of the giant notebook, so no one has to carry the whole heavy book alone. Put all these together, and what do you get? A blockchain that can process over 50,000 transactions per second, compared to Ethereum's few dozen, and Bitcoin's single digits. It's like comparing a rocket ship to a bicycle. Of course! Speed isn't everything! Critics argue that Solana sacrifices some decentralization to achieve this performance. Because it requires powerful hardware to run, fewer people can afford to be validators, compared to Bitcoin or Ethereum. It's a trade-off. Solana chooses speed and scale, while others focus more on maximum decentralization. But here's the magic. Solana showed the world that blockchains don't have to be slow. They can feel as fast as swiping a card or clicking a button, and that opened the door to a whole new wave of apps, games, and experiments. So, if you think of Bitcoin as the vault, Ethereum as the city, then Solana is the superhighway, a place where traffic never jams, and ideas can move at internet speed. The functions and use cases of Solana, now that we know Solana is like a bullet train of blockchains. Let's step inside and see what passengers are actually doing with all that speed. Because speed alone is fun, but it's even better when you can use it for something exciting. Solana's superpower fasts and cheap transactions sandlocks a bunch of real-world and digital uses. Let's tour its neighborhoods, just like walking through a busy fairground. 1. Payments. The simplest use is moving money. Sending SOL or other tokens on Solana costs less than a cent and takes just a few seconds. That makes it perfect for things like tipping an artist online, paying a friend back for lunch, or sending small amounts of money across the world. Imagine tossing a paper airplane across the classroom. It lands almost instantly. 2. DeFi. Decentralized finance. DeFi is like building banks out of Lego blocks on Solana. People can lend coins, borrow money, trade tokens, and earn interest all without a bank clerk or office. The speed and low fees make DeFi smoother than on Ethereum, where gas fees can sometimes cost more than the transaction itself. For example, someone in Brazil can lend money to someone in India instantly through a smart contract, and both trust the code instead of a company. That's finance without borders. 3. NFTs and digital art. Remember, Ethereum's crypto. Solana has its own NFT boom collections, like Degenerate Ape Academy or OK Bears became famous. On Solana, minting an NFT costs pennies, not hundreds of dollars like it sometimes does on That's why artists and creators love it. They can share digital art, songs, or collectibles without worrying about giant fees scaring buyers away. It's like hosting an art fair where anyone can afford to enter. 4. Gaming. This is where Solana shines. Imagine playing an online game where every sword, shield, or pet is yours to keep as an NFT. You could sell it, trade it, or even use it in another game. Because Solana is so fast, these game economies feel smooth. No long waits, no huge fees, Games like Star Atlas aim to build massive worlds where thousands of players can trade and battle in real time. Powered by Solana's speed. 5. DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. Communities can form digital clubs where members vote on what to do next. Want to fund an art project? Launch a meme campaign? Invest in a new idea. With a DAO on Solana, people vote with their tokens, and the smart contract carries out the decision. It's democracy written in code. 6. Stablecoins? Stablecoins are digital dollars, coins tied to real-world money. On Solana, stablecoins like USDC and USDT move at lightning speed with near zero fees. That makes them perfect for everyday use. Paying rent, sending remittances, or even buying coffee. It's like PayPal but without the middleman. 7. Real-world applications beyond games and art. Solana is being tested for serious things too. Supply chains, tracking where your food or clothes come from. Ticketing systems so no one can fake a concert ticket. Identity, verification, even healthcare data. Imagine showing up at a hospital and, instead of carrying a pile of papers, your medical history is safely stored on a blockchain you control. That's the kind of future people dream of building on Solana. To make it simple, let's picture Solana city of use cases. In the market district, people swap tokens and borrow money. In the art gallery, creators display NFTs. In the arcade, players win and trade game items. In the town hall, DAOs vote on decisions. In the bank square, stable coins flow between hands. And in the business zone, real-world companies test blockchain tools. It's like a bustling fairground where every booth has something different to offer, but the tickets are always cheap and the rides are always fast. That's why Solana isn't just known for speed. It's known for what people do with that speed. Creating art, running games, sending money, and even experimenting with new ways to run communities. Governance and the Solana community. If Solana is a super fast train, then who drives it? Who decides when to add new tracks, fix the rails, or upgrade the engine? The answer isn't one person or one company, it's the community. But Solana's way of running itself is a little different from Bitcoin or Ethereum. Validators and stakers. At the heart of Solana are the validators' computers that check transactions and keep the train running on time. Anyone can become a validator, but because the network is so fast and heavy, you need strong hardware. Validators are like the conductors of the train. And then there are the stakers. People who hold SOL tokens can stake them, lock them up to support a validator. It's like passengers giving their tickets to the conductor to prove they trust them. The more SOL staked, the more power that validator has to help run the network. In return, both the validator and the stakers earn rewards. 2. Decision-making. Unlike Bitcoin, which changes slowly and cautiously, Solana moves quickly. Developers are constantly improving the system, fixing bugs, and adding features. Proposals often come from the Solana Foundation, a nonprofit supporting the ecosystem, or from community developers. But here's the important part. Changes can't just be forced. Validators and stakers have to agree. It's a kind of digital democracy where SOL tokens act as votes. So, if the community wants to adjust fees, upgrade technology, or add a new feature, it goes through discussion, testing, and finally, consensus. 3. The wider community governance isn't just about code. It's also about people developers, artists, gamers, investors, and everyday users. Developers build apps, games, and tools. Artists mint NFTs and create culture. Gamers push the limits with real-time worlds. Investors provide capital to grow projects. Educators and influencers spread the word. Together, they make Solana feel less like a company and more like a movement. 4. Challenges of governance. Because Solana values speed, Sometimes decisions are made faster than in slower blockchains. That's good for progress, but it can also lead to mistakes. There have been moments where bugs or network outages forced emergency fixes. Critics say Solana is too centralized because a small number of validators hold much of the power. The community debates these issues openly. Some argue for more decentralization, others for keeping speed as the top priority. It's like a class arguing. Should we have more rules to be fair, or fewer rules so we can move fast? 5. The spirit of the community. Despite its ups and downs, Solana's community is known for being energetic and creative. Online forums, Discord groups, and conferences buzz with ideas. NFT projects form strong. Developers hack together new apps in weekends. Gamers stream their adventures in Solana-based worlds. It feels less like a government meeting and more like a festival where people share projects, laugh at memes, and build crazy experiments just because they can. So, who governs? Not one ruler, not one foundation. It's the validators who run the system, the stakers who support them, the developers who keep building, and the users who keep playing. Solana is like a train where every passenger is also part of the crew. Some steer, some fuel, some design, new wagons butt together. They decide where the train goes next. Advantages and risks of Solana. Every hero has strengths and weaknesses. Superman can fly, but kryptonite makes him weak. Solana, the speedster of blockchains, also has its bright powers and its darker shadows. To understand it fully, we need to look at both sides of the coin. The advantage is blazing speed. Solana can process over 50,000 transactions per second. Compare that to Ethereum's few dozen or Bitcoin's single digits. It feels instant, like sending a text message. That speed makes it attractive for apps, games, and payments, where waiting isn't an option. Tiny fees transactions on Solana cost less than a cent. It's like paying 1 grain of rice to move value. This makes it perfect for microtransactions things you'd never use Bitcoin or Ethereum for, like tipping an artist a few cents or buying digital stickers. Scalability. Because of innovations like proof of history, Turbine, and C-Level, Solana can scale up without clogging. The more people join, the more it still runs smoothly, like adding more cars to a train instead of slowing it down. Ecosystem growth. In just a few years, Solana has become home to a thriving ecosystem. NFT marketplaces, DeFi platforms, games, and DAO. It's like a new city that suddenly exploded with shops, parks, and neighborhoods, all buzzing with life. Accessibility for creators, because fees are so low. Small developers and artists can experiment without fear of losing money. This makes Solana more welcoming for beginners who want to test ideas. The risks network outages. Solana's speed has sometimes come at a cost. There have been several occasions when the whole network went offline for hours due to bugs or overload. Imagine a super fast train suddenly screeching to a halt. It shakes people's trust. Centralization concerns. Running a Solana validator requires powerful computers. That means fewer people can afford to participate compared to Bitcoin or Ethereum. Critics argue this makes Solana more centralized, with fewer hands holding much of the control. Security challenges. Because it's young and experimental, Solana has faced security issues. Hacks have stolen millions from DeFi projects built on Solana. While the base layer is strong, the ecosystem is still vulnerable. Competition. Solana isn't the only fast blockchain. Avalanche, Polygon, Near, and others are all racing to be the speed king. If Solana stumbles, rivals are ready to steal the crown. Sustainability of growth. Rapid growth is exciting, but can it last? Some worry that Solana might struggle to keep its momentum, especially if outages or bugs scare developers away. The balanced Solana story is full of contrast. It's fast, but sometimes fragile. It's cheap, but sometimes costly when bugs hit. It's innovative, but also young and untested compared to Bitcoin or Ethereum. Think of it like a roller coaster. Thrilling, fast, full of upside, but not always steady. For adventurers, that's exciting. For cautious riders, it's scary. In short, Solana's advantages make it one of the most promising blockchains today. Its risks remind us it's still a work in progress. That tension between speed and stability is what makes the Solana story so interesting. The present and the future of Solana. Today, Solana is no longer just an experiment in speed. It's one of the biggest names in crypto, standing alongside Bitcoin and Ethereum as a serious contender. In just a few short years, it has attracted developers, artists, gamers, and investors from around the world. The present, right now, Solana is known for three things: speed, low fees, and NFT. Speed. Transactions on Solana feel instant. Payments, trades, and game actions happen in seconds without the long waits common on other chains. Low fees. Even when millions of users are active, fees stay tiny. That's why artists mint their NFTs here and gamers build economies without worrying about costs. NFT culture. Collections like Degenerate Ape Academy, OK Bears, and Solana Monkey Business have become icons in the blockchain art world. For many, Solana is the place where digital creativity feels accessible. The ecosystem has also grown beyond art. DeFi projects let people trade, lend, and borrow. DAOs, organized communities. Games like Star Atlas and Ori dream of building vast worlds powered by Solana speed. But Solana's present isn't without issues. The network has suffered outage moments where it simply stopped for hours. Critics worry that if this keeps happening, trust will weaken. Developers are constantly patching, upgrading, and improving to prevent future breakdowns. The future. So, what's next for Solana? Stability upgrades. The team is focused on making the network more stable. They want Solana to be not only the fastest, but also reliable, like a train that never mass adoption. If Solana can keep fees low and apps smooth, it could become the go-to blockchain for everyday people. Imagine buying coffee with a Solana-based payment app as easily as swiping a credit card. Gaming revolution. Many believe Solana will lead the Web3 gaming boom because it's so fast. In-game items, battles, and trades can happen in real time. Instead of clunky, expensive blockchain games, Solana could power smooth, fun experiences that millions of players actually enjoy. NFT expansion. NFTs aren't going away, they're evolving. Solana could host not only art collections, but also music rights, movie tickets, and property deeds. Your concert ticket, your diploma, even your house papers might one day live on Solana. Competition or cooperation. Other blockchains like Ethereum, Avalanche, and Polygon are not sitting still. The future might not be one chain winning everything, but rather an interconnected web, where Solana is the speed hub while others handle different jobs. The question hanging in the air is, can Solana keep its crown as the speedster, while also becoming reliable enough for the world to trust? If it succeeds, Solana could power the apps of the future. Games, social networks, global payments, and more, all running at internet speed. If it fails, it might be remembered as a bold experiment that showed what was possible but couldn't last. One thing is certain. In less than a decade, Solana has gone from a white paper idea to a blockchain moving billions of dollars and hosting millions of users. That's already historic! And if it has come this far so quickly, just imagine where it could be in another 10 years. Solana is more than just a blockchain. It's a story about speed, ambition, and daring to dream bigger. It began with an engineer on a California beach, asking a simple question. Why should blockchains crawl when they can fly? From that thought came proof of history, a clock for the blockchain, and a whole new vision of what crypto could be. Today, Solana is known as the speedster of crypto, fast, cheap, and buzzing with creativity. It has become home to NFT artists, game developers, DeFi builders, and curious streamers who want to see what happens when the Internet of Money moves at lightning speed. But Solana is not perfect. It has faced network crashes, questions about decentralization, and fierce competition from other blockchains. Its greatest strength moving? Fast is also its greatest challenge. Can it grow without breaking? Can it stay reliable as it scales to millions more users? No one knows for sure, but that's what makes the story of Solana exciting. It's not finished. It's still being written block by block, app by app, vote by vote. So here, that's the question for you. If you had to choose between the armored truck of Bitcoin, the bustling city of Ethereum, or the bullet train of Solanaware, would you place your snack money? Because Solana isn't just about technology. It's about imagination, about building faster worlds, and about joining a community that dares to sprint when others are still learning to walk. And if you want to keep following these adventures, don't just close the book. Stay curious, keep learning, and hit subscribe before Solana S. Next upgrade is so fast you miss it with the blink of an eye.